In today's video, we'll be going through the 2012 comedy film The Dictator. He was born in 1973 and never knew his mother, as it was widely believed that she died shortly after giving birth to him. The film begins with a news broadcast. The report contains information about Admiral General Aladdin's dictatorial rule over his nation. He is the son of Colonel Aladdin, a dictatorial and savage leader. But a doctor assassinated her. He is well known for his beard, ignorance, and the 14 gold medals he has earned in his self-created competition. He obtained the medals by defrauding his competitors by shooting them before they pass him and controlling the crew to adjust the finish line close to him. The news revolves around the issue of nuclear weapons. Aladdin doesn't know the others see it, and it results in the public becoming doubtful and upset with him. He continually finds a method to evade these escalating challenges, however, until he makes a statement on his palace that 2 months later everyone will bow in front of their magnificent nation as they enrich uranium for peaceful purposes in medical research. His ignorance captivates his audiences, but he doesn't know that everyone is only here because of their fear of him. When Aladdin enters their laboratory, his uncle Tamir greets him by smelling his armpit. He speaks with the scientists about revealing their nuclear weapon, but Aladdin is dissatisfied with the conclusion and searches for Nadal, his scientist. Then the present scientist informs him that he has already sacked him. Aladdin begins to recall the incident, recalling that he executed him as a result of their quarrel, reiterates the appearance of a nuclear weapon as depicted in cartoons since scientists contradict everything he says. He gets sentenced to death, and later he tells his current scientist that he recalls it, but he feels insulted, so he executes him. Uncle Tamir convinces him to speak the truth in the United Nations about the absence of nuclear weapons, hoping that the sanction against him would be lifted and they will be allowed to export Wadia's oil. Aladdin disagrees, stating that he will not sell Wadia's oil to anyone. He is shot in the head as he exits his gold vehicle. He did it to show the world his might. But in truth, it's simply another person with the same face. Due to the fact that the only person who resembled him is no longer living, they decided to look for someone who does. Fortunately, they find someone who fits their criteria and grooms him to look just like him, including shortening his eggplant. In the next scene, Aladdin is having a pleasurable night with Megan Fox. After Aladdin induced himself with Megan's Hole of Wonders, they quickly snap a picture and Megan departs as she still has a round two with the Prime Minister. As much as Aladdin wants her to stay, Megan has to leave. So he obtains their photograph and posts it on his wall. We can see several pictures that he takes to the Kingdom of Pleasure, including several prominent Hollywood figures. The following day, Tamir informed Aladdin that the United Nations have invited him to give information about nuclear weapons. As a result, Aladdin convenes a meeting with his generals to reveal his scheme. He informs them that he would travel to America and speak for 14 hours using baby noises in order to ensure they would not understand him. Aladdin makes his way to America. The public greets him with a rally expressing their contempt for him. However, he remains unconcerned. His entrance is opulent. It appears to be a parade with his female guards whom he keeps their virginity and various sports cars. He is currently staying at the Lancaster Hotel. There he meets Mr. Clayton. He identifies himself as a guard in order to bolster his security. They customize his room to his specifications. That night, he is kidnapped and taken to a secluded location where he is tortured before killing him. At first, Aladdin is on concert because he expresses his opinions regarding the weapons. Mr. Clayton, the kidnapper, tortures him. He trims Aladdin's beard and fires it, but the attempt fails when the flames collide with his body. Aladdin is able to escape as the flames scorch his handcuffs. There, he convinces a bypasser to exchange his garments and promises to offer him something in exchange. After a while, Aladdin persuades the guards that he is Aladdin, but finds out that Uncle Tamir uses his look-alike to take over his speech. Aladdin is enraged. He yells foul language, and the protesters imitate him, believing he is leading the protest chant. The fake Aladdin begins his speech. However, he shows his extremely bubbling manner in front of the audience. He drinks from the pitcher and then pees on it. He raises the picture to showcase his pee and then consumes it. Everyone is uneasy at the moment due to his actions, but he subsequently delivers his written speech, which contains the long-awaited democracy in Wadia. Additionally, he claims that he will sign the paper in 5 days later on Wadia's Independence Day. His speech ends up being a source of excitement for everyone. Aladdin explodes in anger and swiftly climbs the fence to defend his belief that the residents of Wadia like oppression, but the police apprehend Aladdin by gunning him water. Zoe transports him to her vehicle in order to save him. There she begins her introduction. She asserts boldly that she is a vegan feminist and a non-profit cooperative functioning with an anti-racist and anti-oppressive framework for people of all genders or none. However, Aladdin continues to be impolite and unpleasant. Zoe reminds him that her entire staff is made out of former political refugees. Aladdin then begins insulting her store and employees. Zoe confronts him about his inappropriate behavior, and he exits the store shortly. Aladdin is alone, wandering the place until he sees Nadal. He follows him everywhere until he reaches the Death of Aladdin restaurant. The customers there recognize his face. He covers up himself, but he fails. Then Nadal intervenes and saves him. Aladdin begins telling him everything, and Nadal strikes a deal. He offers to save him, but he has to make him the head of nuclear research. Aladdin agrees. Nadal and Aladdin are now roaming the place here. He sees Zoe having a gate pass. Nadal tells him that he needed her to enter the site. So Aladdin immediately heads to Zoe's store and apologizes, and also tells her that he wants to work, so Zoe allows him to work on her store out of kindness. But Aladdin messes everything. Nadal intends to take a helicopter ride as a tourist to inspect the Lancaster Hotel's weak points. He informs Aladdin that he must behave naturally. Still, during the ride, Aladdin and Nadal continue to speak their language, which their colleagues misunderstand, and as a result, they end up in jail. Then Zoe makes her way to the jail to defend them. Aladdin is taken aback by Zoe's determination to save him. Aladdin is successfully freed following the argument, and Uncle Tamir sees him on the news and instructs Etra to invade him. They are now at the store. Aladdin is hugely grateful to Zoe, and as a token, he offers his banana to her, but Zoe declines. Zoe notices that he is acting strangely and confronts him, asking if he's ever had masturbation, to which he responds forthrightly. Thus, Zoe tells him how to do it. Aladdin obeys all of her commands until he achieves the pinnacle of satisfaction. After finishing the activity, he proudly exits the room and informs everyone in the facility about his experience, which he refers to as self-juicing. That night, Etra, the girl with large boobs, begins to attack him. However, Aladdin succeeds in reversing her course of action. The following day, the officer comes to visit their store, but refuses to continue the deal as he proves that the sanitary inspection scores have low ratings. Also, he gets disgusted because Aladdin tells him that Zoe teaches him to do self-juicing. Zoe is now disappointed. However, Aladdin devises a scheme to sully their competitor's reputation to reclaim what they are supposed to have. Aladdin now dominates the store. He modifies their established routine and results in significant adjustments and success for their store. Their sanitary level increases to an A at this time as he kidnaps the officer's family in charge of the grades. Also, they earned the Lancasters again as they rejected the Green World market after all their reputation got ruined because they found a piece of beheaded head that Aladdin places on their store. In the next scene, Nadal informs him that he got away to replace his beard, but Aladdin says he wants a real beard, so they find it and see a dead body with a beard that fits his standard. They join to wait, and Nadal is razoring the beard, but the people need to enter the door, so they run, bringing the dead man's head. On the rooftop, Zoe and Aladdin are caressing each other and he kisses her out of his love for her. After that, Zoe confesses her feelings, and Aladdin reveals that he is not Allison, but the Admiral General Aladdin of Wadia. Zoe gets shocked by his confession, and she asks him to leave. Aladdin is wandering around the city alone. He feels depressed, reflecting on how he lost his wealth. Also, he sees on the screen how people express their anger and hatred against him. As a result, he heads on the bridge to commit suicide, but Nadal comes into the picture, then asks Aladdin what he's doing there, and then tells him that he keeps texting him 7 times. Aladdin is determined to end his life, but Nadal tells him that he is the last dictator of this world and has to continue his legacy up to the next generation. The day has come, everyone is excited as they're going to welcome their new chapter of life. Nadal uses a self-made tool to get into the room of the fake Aladdin. Afterward, he uses it, but fails because he is heavy. He then uses it, but fails due to its weight. Thus, he discards everything that causes him to become heavy, even his poop, and quickly enters the room successfully. He directs his lookalike to go, and Uncle Tamir then enters the room to get him. The paper is about to be signed by him, but he reveals who he is and tells Uncle Tamir has assigned someone to assassinate him. Everyone is stunned now after the revelation. Aladdin strips out the Constitution. He begins to tell that he will not sign the paper and tries to enlighten how bad democracy is. But his decision flips when he sees Zoe's eyes. He revokes what he said and declares that democracy is now approved. Zoe sprints to him, intending to kiss him. She adores his decision, and Aladdin tells her that he wants her to be one of his wives, but later revokes it. Zoe and Aladdin are now at the palace. The entire Wadia is now rejoicing on their wedding. The film concludes with Nadal demonstrating his new bomb following his previous standards, but Aladdin declares that he doesn't care no matter what the look is. Nadal is devastated at the moment because he went to great lengths to create the bomb that Aladdin believes makes no sense before. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and click the bell icon to get new movie recaps.